All right, let's get into it. So the first card out is the Four of Wands. And the sigil that you're looking at here has this core message wanting to surface of earned stabilization. So things are really taking shape now because your current load, it's been too heavy and it's like no longer sustainable. And this energy is coming through to kind of stabilize that. The sigil is really here to help you step into like a new stable phase so you don't burn out, which is what's beneath the surface here, what's coming to risk. You're really hitting a turning point where things just really start to click. They start to work out. This energy to me is the energy of someone saying like, okay, this foundation is mine. It's not inherited. It's something I've earned. And it's this part of you that wants to create like a structure, an order, a type of like stabilized momentum through effort and self-direction rather than through having something handed down to you, something inherited, something that you didn't get by earning. I'm feeling the energy of the builder archetype. And this is really coming from this feeling of like a pressure point in your current situation. It's really hit a limit for you. And I wouldn't say it's meltdown level, not with the way this is structured. And we'll get into the architecture after we read the tarot cards. But so this isn't like a catastrophic, complete meltdown, but it's definitely a point of like too much responsibility. There's too many expectations on you, or like a feeling that you're carrying a lot more weight than you really should. So there could be this energy of frustration or even like resentment building up within you. I mean, but you've been like pushing, you've been planning, you've been showing up consistently. And so you're really stepping into a solid ground here through this energy activation that you have built. This isn't like, I keep getting like this Daddy Warbucks energy, you know, like the trust fund kid where it's like daddy and mommy hand them this money, this business, this ecosystem, this structure, this belief system, whatever it is, and they just live by to continue on the legacy. And here you're kind of like the legacy breaker. You're like, no, I'd rather do something on my own. I don't want mommy and daddy's business. I want to run, you know, my own company. I want to start my own product or my own service, and really taking the skills perhaps that you've been pushed and pulled and molded in from in your upbringing and applying those in a kind of really new way here. So this is a very exciting energy. Now let's dig into like, how is this energy playing out in your life? We're going to look at what's the structure of this sigil, of this builder archetype. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Pentacles. What's first catching my eye here, and what is this? Nine of Wands beneath that. Okay, so there's some boundaries coming to surface here, some boundaries awakening within you. But what is first catching my eye is kind of how like putrid and icky the energy of this card feels, right? The sky is kind of like this greenish, pukey pea color. It feels stagnant. It definitely feels stagnant. So this Seven of Pentacles says to me that you are grinding so hard toward long-term goals that everything else in your life is kind of getting pushed to the side right now. There's this energy of being like hyper focused on work or just pouring yourself into results. I mean, I see you putting personal life kind of on the back burner and really maybe feeling like everything depends on you from this. There's also this pressure in my left, kind of beyond my ear here to the side, that tells me that you're kind of aiming maybe at this future so hard that the present feels drained. It's just kind of passing you by. It feels like it's sucking your energy in a sense. I mean, it's progress, yes, but it's really effort that feels heavy here. it's like this very slow and exhausting kind of growth, because this water isn't like pure. It's not water, it's the sky, but the energy on the card here, it's not like this pure, free-flowing kind of newness and breath of fresh air. It's really got this stagnant color to it. And it tells me that there's a lot of exhaustion, a lot of effort, but the progress is just, it's starting to feel gross. It's starting to feel unsustainable. And you are working towards this stability, but it's just not, it's not achieving the results I think that you've been expecting. And it's starting to feel like just a mildew pond. And the boundaries in the Nine of Flames that I mentioned before, these are from burnout, from being defensive, from being tired of like having to be the strong one. I'm hearing my emotional bandwidth is done. And this energy is playing out in a way that your effort, it is huge. I don't want to like discredit what you've put towards this, but you're stretched thin. You're like emotionally exhausted. You're emotionally tapped out, which is exactly why this sigil is activating this shift. It's trying to move you out of the swamp burnout cycle, and it's asking you to set boundaries and stop overextending yourself. There's powerful internal transformation work here. And I honestly feel there's like this momentum almost of you back alive. It's building here behind the scenes. It's fun, and it's exciting, and it's much more lighthearted than the approach, much more fluid as well, not stagnated like this, than the approach you've been doing before, that you've been trying. Now let's see what the emotional undercurrent being worked on is here. All right. That is the Seven of Cups. I love the contrast here. Oh, and it's repeating here as well in the Chariot. We have a full spectrum, a full rainbow of emotions here underneath the surface of this. But the emotional energy for me is really speaking to the throat and the sacral chakra. I did like a Reiki class like 5-10 years ago. And one of the ways they taught us to balance the chakras was to balance the opposite. And this is channeling that subconscious opposite through expression. So it's like balancing your intuition, your third eye chakra, the information that you're processing internally and the insights that you receive from it in a creative flow state kind of way. So yeah, I mean, we're dealing here with some emotional clutter. There's way too much input. There's like too many feelings here and too many layers to this. And it makes decision making feel really kind of slow and heavy. The sacral chakra represents like not just creativity, but also emotions. So in a roundabout way, that means also your relationships and your emotional needs and your desires. And the throat chakra is your communication. It governs your expression and truth telling, which together says that there are emotional needs you haven't voiced yet under the surface or under the structure of this Four of Wands energy here. There's a truth that you're holding back. And your mind is moving way faster than your emotions can even keep up with. Like the Chariot energy here is giving the energy of like this rapid fire thinking and being in like a constant analysis stage, trying to really mentally solve what you're emotionally not really ready to face or not really ready to kind of uproot. So the brain is racing while your emotions are lagging behind. And then this is causing you to be pulled in two different directions. I mean, one part of you wants to slow down. It wants to sort these things out. And that's the emotional side of you. And then the other part of you wants answers. It wants action right now. And that's your mind. This mismatch, it really creates a lot of confusion or exhaustion and a lot of emotional noise, as well as this feeling of internal pressure. I can't ignore this feeling of pressure surging up from the sacral up through to the throat, which really makes sense because the sigil is pushing this energetic undercurrent to the surface so you can clear that emotional noise, so you can really clean it up. Now we've seen what it's pushing up to clear, but now I want to look at like what energy or truth is this sigil pushing you towards. Let's pull that next. I feel like you belong here. All right, we have the Hierophant. Bottom of the deck is the Four of Swords. Fascinating. I'm really noticing here we've got this grounding down into the root chakra now. And this parallel here of the mind, the third eye chakra especially, it's a more purplish color traditionally, but this kind of deep stormy energy, it feels like the energy of like of inner gnosis through the mind. I'm loving this Hierophant here as what's activating through the sigil work. And what is activating for you is inner authority. This is the part of you that stops really second guessing yourself, and it finally commits to a path here. It's really about grounding that decision, shout out to that root chakra energy, and planting both feet on the ground. It's like this energy of steadying, so you're not wobbling anymore. And you already know what direction feels right here. Now you need to fully own it without feeling bad about it. Like, don't apologize for it, or even like reverse on the course. I feel like this possible temptation to get a few steps ahead and then being like, oh my gosh, I'm not worthy, or I shouldn't be doing this, or what the hell am I doing this for? And there's this energy of reversing. So stay confident in your forward movement, because this is a decision made from your spine. This is not a decision made from stress or stagnation or that internal pressure. And that Taurian energy of the Hierophant is really about making something ethereal, something godlike into something tangible. But I'm also feeling like enjoyable too. And I'm hearing like, choose your path and stick with it. Quit dilly-dallying back and forth. On the bottom of the deck represents for me the part that you're not seeing. This is the hidden angle. So this is something that's really shaping how everything plays out, but it's not in full awareness here. And with the Four of Swords, this tells me that your mind is going through a quiet internal awakening. And you're seeing things more clearly than you ever have before. I mean, even if you're not talking about it out loud, there's this clarity coming through here. There's this calm breaking through. There's also buried visions coming to surface with this energy, the way these four swords come out of this unconscious energy of the deep psyche. And these are really those deeper truths about like how you want to live, how you want to work and love and lead your life here. I mean, tying this all in, we have the Seven of Cups, where your mind has been overwhelmed, and it's pushed to a critical mass now where it's like it's no longer sustainable because you keep kind of stagnating from it. And with this stagnation, you've definitely been carrying too much pressure. You're trying to push your way through it. But you've been working toward this stability and this momentum here. And the sigil is pushing you now to kind of claim your direction. It's really telling you to ground yourself. This Four of Swords really ties this all together by saying like the only reason that you're even able to make this shift now is because there is this clarity window. And that window is exactly what the sigil is amplifying. You're about to make a grounded and confident decision about the direction that you're going to go here. And you're really moving from this energy of like, oh, I don't know what to do, to more of this, I know exactly what needs to happen here. You're anchoring this into a path that actually supports you instead of drains you, like the Seven of Pentacles tells me. All right, so we've got the context, and we'll keep the cards to the side. But now let's look at decoding the sigil and how the sigil shifts this energy for you. I'll share my iPad notes and overlay the image directly on the screen for a few minutes so you can take a screenshot if you'd like, and we can avoid kind of this ugly ring light that you're seeing in the reflection. So after each trance drawing, I sit with a sigil and I kind of chicken scratch notes into this paper that I have before tapping out of the trance fully. And then I'll overlay all that onto the sigil in Procreate and kind of map the notes directly on it like this. And this will be what I'm referring to as we go through the structure. So let me move that aside. So first, what I want to point out is that the sigil it's a 3 or 4 phase shift. And you may be at the lead up stage to this, like feeling something coming, but I don't know what it is yet. You could be in the beginning, middle, or end of this process. It'll depend. But right now, the sigil is depicting kind of the middle point energy of this activation. And there's this lead up vibe of like stuff that's dormant and unclear. We talked about this. There's this like momentum and steadiness coming, but there's this stagnation kind of leaking into your energy still. And while I don't feel in this sigil with the way it's drawn, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's stagnation, like an external force blocking you. It feels a bit more unactivated. And if you're not already in this change, this steadiness and this decision, you're definitely building the momentum here to get to that point. Knowing this shift energy was coming, but being unclear in what way or how or when or why. I'm getting the feeling of train tracks coming, like you can feel the vibration before the train is in view. You can feel the humming. And there is this kind of like powering up humming from this activation, or the way the overall energy of the sigil works. At this point, the shift here in that energy is like primordial goo. So there's no definition, there's no real identifiable form yet. And this is symbolized especially by like the serpent's tail, which really represents like a dormant instinct for me. There's kundalini coiling here in this tail, and there's a collective pressure and a lot of potential for this energy. It's building up for some time under the surface now. What's also pointing to that to me is these 3 black spears we have here. Oh, I said spears. I meant spheres. Spheres. And these are the 3 latent impulses. These are like the things kind of waking up inside you before you even realize it. This energy finally has somewhere to go. There's a direction here. We kind of already got that with the grounding of the Hierophant. It's up to you to really walk steadily forward in that direction once that clarity fully resonates here. But really in this stage down here, there's this low simmer alchemical process happening, or that's been happening. And it's going to activate like a cleanup stage for you where everything unnecessary kind of falls away, and you finally get to see things for what they are, especially with that emotional noise clearing here. It's like purification clarity. This is known in alchemy as albedo, or whitening. And then this is also kind of transitioning into the next stage, which is reddening, where the clarity that you gained becomes real in your life. You don't just see it, you don't just observe it, you actually embody it, you integrate it, you live it. And then there's a quiet consolidation phase in that. And where we are now is about right here on the sigil. We move into this like hooked curve on the left here, and this is the ignition point. The hooked curve is where the rise in energy in the soul gnosis actually begins. And with the way that the energy of this card's read out, with the momentum and such, like that ignition, it's already lit here. The shift is well underway. It's fully activating. And then we have the axis mundi, vertical path, the initiate path. And from there, the line, it pulls upward into like this clean kind of vertical ascent. This feels like a kind of standing up energy. I'm also hearing all rise, like when they announce a judge coming into the courtroom. And this is really where you start standing up internally. There's more intention here. There's more clarity. This looks like an internal click moment for you. So maybe a new insight or that decision that was discussed with this card, it becomes much more clear and more easy to make. There's just possibly this shift in how you see things or how you see yourself. And you're definitely over like the thinking about it phase here with this Four of Swords. That's such a great card to tie into that, because you're already moving forward. Like it's happening internally before it reflects outside of yourself. And inner alignment for you, it's changing directions, and then it starts to climb with this hook. There's like this awakening, this higher self contact happening for you in this part of the phase, and then it becomes that chariot kind of force I'm getting here, where there's this movement, this focus, this like willpower to victory, and also courage. And so, I mean, most people I feel like will be in this who resonate with this reading, this part of the sigil, and then it moves up into what's coming, which is a threshold, and that's represented here by the triple flame intersection. This is the gatekeeper point, the threshold between the lower activation energies and then the post-initiation trajectory here. Feeling the energy of sorting. It's like I'm seeing something sort things into boxes, almost like, when you're like doing spring cleaning on your house and you've got like a yes pile, a no pile, and a maybe pile. And this is really what stays and goes for you. Sorting. What stays, what goes, what maybe stays, and you got to reflect on it a bit more. What comes with us and what gets left behind. And the guardian for me is not presenting really as an obstacle. It's actually just this necessary part of the path, because this guardian energy is really what brings about the choice to commit, the choice to see the path clearly and say, yes, I'm moving forward in that direction. And then shortly after this threshold, this three flames here, this is where we enter kind of a short adjustment period. This is representing with the zigzag path. The path here is not going to be linear by any means, and that is totally, totally normal. So it'll feel more like an oscillation energy. You'll oscillate between the developing states as you're stabilizing the new shift, and as you're grounding it, there's like this back and forth. And that energy here, it may feel like you might have like a new impulse, but then you get an old reaction, but then you get new clarity. And then you oscillate back to an old fear. But then you oscillate back to a new direction. And then it returns back to like an old hesitation. And you ping pong between who you used to be versus who you're becoming here. And the reason it oscillates, the reason this is normal, is because it's finding a new center of gravity. It's really balancing these polarities out. And it's a confirmation sign for you as well, when you feel this oscillation, that you're crossing into a new stage of your process. It's more like a learning curve part of the transformation, or I guess a learning zigzag if we're talking literally here. And you're seeing the shift in your daily life more as you're in this zigzag part of the sigil or the activation energy, but you're still finding your footing here. So things feel like a kind of a recalibration moment to really settle into the new orientation. And then we have the S curve. And the S curve is for me this guidance. It's this integration and this like alignment with the higher principles, since it's surrounding the star here. And your inner truth, it really starts to vibrate in the same frequency as your outer path in this phase of it. So what's been shifting within you starts being mirrored and reflected back to you externally. They're on the same trajectory here. There's like, I'm hearing again back to that silly train reference, but full steam ahead. And you're being led by the guidance principle here in this curving, especially in the beginning. You're actually being led a lot more than you might be aware of. It might not feel like it. It might feel like you're navigating this on your own. But there is this higher self energy that's activating for you as well. And it's guiding you towards this momentum shift where the wheel actually turns. And where this leads here, the shift ends in the spiral. It's the integration zone. So it's the node where everything really comes together, really starts to click. And that talk about before, where things just start working for you. There's like this clarity consolidating to this point. I'm hearing this is a new way of your soul being. You like fully integrate this as your own energy. And so this is kind of just your automatic presence here. And I'm getting like a strong aha moment, a strong like new mental or maybe spiritual state for you. And it ends in this concentrated form of completion, of like a inner revelation. It just becomes your way. It becomes your vibe. So the core message with the sigil here, or the way that it activates for you, is that the shift is definitely already happening. So get excited. I did mention there's this building momentum of kind of a fun, more lightweight energy, and definitely some excitement coming through. So get excitement. Get excited. Prepare for the ride. And get ready to settle into basically a new energetic imprint, really. And again, the shift, it won't be dramatic. Remember, I mentioned this isn't like meltdown energy. It's very subtle, but it's very permanent in this reorientation. It's like the kind of shift you only notice in hindsight because, you know, everything feels cleaner. It feels easier, kind of more aligned for you. You're in that great sacral chakra flow state. And this could really look like the decisions that you make are getting easier. You're not spiraling, or you're not agonizing over them again and again. You kind of really stop fighting yourself. There's way more way less self-doubt, and no more thinking that you need to go back, you need to reverse, you need to apologize, you need to feel bad about this. You may notice that habits start dropping naturally if they don't match your new trajectory. They just kind of don't really fit your life anymore. There's not like a whole lot of resistance. This isn't like, you know, doing something that you're really enjoying and not doing anymore. These are just simply things that you've outgrown in a way. And I'm also feeling this sense of like internal okay, like internal validation or internal acceptance becomes the primary mode of operation for you. You're not so much focused on this external confirmation anymore. The world will start responding differently because you respond differently yourself. And it's not a magic thing. It's not like woo-woo. It's actually just simply alignment. So that's the reading for this sigil. And I'll let the rest play without commentary. If you want the digital print or the oracle card, the Etsy links are in the description. And then here's the time lapse. I'll see you on the next sigil stream.